Hi people, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Elo and welcome.
You did not say Elo.
This girl is just a hater. As you guys can see, I have a guest on the channel and I'm starting to regret my actions. This human being is going to frustrate me. If you would, Your Majesty, introduce yourself.
If you insist. Hi everyone. What am I supposed to say? I'm Tisha. I'm Elora's best friend.
I don't know her, I promise you guys.
Okay, so I'm Tisha. I was coerced into this friendship because Elora, she went out and she was looking for somebody like me.
What?
So we met up. No, we met up through our kids, and since then I've been forced consistently to spend time with her, but she's alright, so
wow,
we get along.
That is such a warped version of this story, but yeah, I guess I'll let her have a moment. Anyways, this is my friend Tisha. She's a bone in my throat, but I love her like that. She's Jamaican,
yes,
and I would like to put out that Jamaicans are Nigerians and Caribbean skin. Let's just put that out there. Or vice versa, yeah, whatever. But Nigerians and Jamaicans are so alike, as I'm starting to find out. But anywho, we do not want to bore you with a very long introduction. You guys enjoyed my last video when I had a guest here and we just chatted, so I thought, why not? Let's do it again. So today we're going to be talking about love, marriage, friendships. We'll be spilling the tea about our experiences in all of that. Very PG tea. So if that seems like something that you'll be interested in watching, then you know what to do. Meet me on the other side, okay? So, where to start? Let's start with the obvious one, friendship, right? Now let me tell you guys the real truth about how we met. So we're obviously both foreigners living in a different country, and then there was, when we moved to our new house, I was looking for friends for my daughter because she hasn't really started school. And then I put up a post on Facebook on a group that we're both members on, which is a group for moms or just parents in general that live here in the city, saying, oh hi, I'm looking for friends for my daughter, yada yada yada, she's 3 years old, this and that. And I put our area. I wanted people that were close to home so it would be easy to meet up. And then I realized later, like weeks later, that I thought I didn't get responses until I discovered a whole new section on Facebook for message requests, and then I started responding to people, and she was one of the people that reached out to me. So I didn't go chasing this human being, she came to me. Anywho, we went out. I just went with the mindset of, oh, I'm not necessarily looking for friends for me, I'm looking for friends for my child. And then we met up at the playground, and somehow we abandoned the reason why we came there, because we're not focusing on the children playing or not playing, and then we just started chatting. And since then, how they say it, and
yes, spirit take you.
Here we are. Here we are. She's obsessed with me.
Oh my God.
She's constantly looking for me. But yeah, so that was how we met. That's the true story of how we met. Apart from the fact that I say she's obsessed with me, but I think it's low-key true, Sha. Anyway, I think our friendship has just been very easy.
Yeah.
It's been very easy. I mean, I've heard of meeting your person in like a female version, especially when you grow up. Please don't try me. Especially when you are older, making friends as grown women is hard. It is so hard. So when you meet those people where everything just works out, it's just chill, and yeah, that's kind of like a summary of what our friendship has been like. But then I'll let her tell us our own view, because this gay
man. All right, so I think it was the same for me. I mean, I've told you several times, I wasn't looking for friends. I didn't want any friends. I consider myself very antisocial. in that regard, and I'm okay with it, you know, because all my closest friends, apart from you now, are in different countries. So it was never an aim for me to have a friend here. It was just, if it happens, it happens, but I'm not looking for it. So when we met through our kids, it was like, okay, let me see what this girl is about. And, you know, we went to the playground. She wasn't saying much, you know, just the regular mom stuff. Be careful, you want to sit together, that kind of a thing. And I was like, okay. And I was the same. So I was thinking, well, nobody's really assertive here, so it probably won't last beyond today, but that was fine. But then eventually we went for coffee, I think, and I don't know, it was, as she said, it was just easy.
Yeah.
I didn't need to put on a different persona. I didn't need to try to be nice. I was my normal me self, and she just laughed about it, which is good. That meant to me she understood my sense of humor, and for me that works. Once you get that I am not really this person that I put on, then we can work. And with Elor, it was just, with Stephanie, it was like that. You're not tell them why I call you Stephanie.
Oh no, you burned us, so now we have to say it. So she cannot pronounce Elohor. And it's not like it's a big deal for me, because since I've come here, my name has gone from Elohor to Elor, because that's what everybody calls me. And I'm just at a point where I'm very comfortable with my native Nigerian name, and I want to be called by that name. I mean, for the longest time, people that know me know that I prefer to be called Stephanie, until maybe 2-3 years ago, and I just thought there's a lot of Stephanies in this world, but you know, there's not a lot of Elors in this world. So I'd rather be known as a unique name that carries meaning over, you know, a Western name that almost every other girl bears. So she cannot pronounce Elor, and then
I have tried numerous times. Just for some reason it doesn't roll the way it should, but
you're gonna learn, my dear. You will learn. So yeah, that was how we met. I think, to be honest, I cannot explain how the friendship came about, because we both were not trying at all.
That's probably why.
Yeah, I think that's probably why. Like, we were not trying. There was no fronting, there was no forming, there was nothing. It was just, let's just go with it and see how it, you know, how it goes. And for some weird reason, we found ourselves chatting like every day, and we're not necessarily talking about having the kids meet up. It was just bands and, you know, things. And I think that's another thing that we really share, our humor.
Yeah.
I found someone that understands how a Nigerian person vibes and jokes, and so for me that was just like, yes, please. And I think that was it really. Okay, so that is our love story. So now I want to ask, how do you feel like your views on friendship has changed as you have grown older, become a mom, a wife?
So I think I've gone through different phases of friendship. I mean, I've told you before as well. So the friends that I had like in high school, when I look at it now, it was necessary for that period, you know, where I was, what I needed to do. Went on to uni, those friends are now my friends. So I think we moved from being housemates to becoming real life friends that, you know, we've been to each other's, like, they've been to my wedding, you know, they've spent time with my child and so on. And so that's why one of the reasons I'm very cautious when it comes on to making friends, because we need to be friends for more reasons than one. It cannot just be because we're in the same place.
Yeah.
Because I've had friends like that, you know, we were probably working at the same place at the time, and so we became friends, but the minute we moved, there was really no reason to continue the friendship, because we really had nothing in common.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the reasons why we bonded so easily, because not only are we both living outside of our home country, we both have kids, you know, we're married, we're trying to decipher the whole, you know, the work scene, the social life here, the culture, the language. And so there's always something to talk about. There's always something in common. And I find that friendships sometimes they're just supposed to be for certain periods. But you do know the friends that you'll have that are supposed to be lifetime friends, I think. And those friends, regardless of where you go, because my friends know that I don't even see them like over years. We still talk like every day or every other day. And that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily believe in low maintenance friendships, as I've told you before. I mean, we're either friends or we're not, and that's cool. Like, we don't need to be talking every day, but you don't disappear for 6 months.
Girl,
and still say
like,
we're friends.
I don't understand it these days, the whole craze about low maintenance friendships. For me, I feel like people just want to do the barest minimum and claim that we're friends. I mean, because I try as much as possible not to be judgy or pushy, but I've mentioned this before, that when we are friends, we're like in a serious committed relationship. You do not go off for a month, 2 months, MIA, I do not hear from you, and then you call me and you expect me just like, oh hi, yes. No, I understand that life happens. We are all in different seasons of our lives and all of that, but going off grid for 2 months, 3 months is ridiculous. And I don't know what this whole craze about low maintenance friendships is about. I don't get it.
I think it's really just persons unable to express themselves properly, or let me say in a way that works for most people, because as you said, people do go through seasons, and it's okay if you're going through probably a phase of unemployment or marital issues. I don't know what the issue is, but if I am your friend, I think, while you're not required to tell me, that's your business. You can say to me like, I'm going through a phase right now. I'm really, just pray for me, or just keep me in thought or something.
Yeah.
But to
so
not
I'm in the
say
loop that
anything.
you're going through something, even though I don't necessarily have all the details. Yeah. But it's like people just want to go through life on their own, do their own. I think it's a matter of accountability. People don't want to be accountable to
it's like
anybody.
high school, when you're in high school and you have like this group of friends, and you have like this one girl that's friends with everybody, and like at one point she's probably close with this one, and then she says something bad about that one, and then you just skip. So it's like, I'm your friend today, but I'm not your friend tomorrow. Or I think it's the same scenario, like when persons are like in a relationship and they want to see other people, and they say they go on a break. Because I can't like cheat on you if I'm on a break. But they don't really want to break up. But
so they want to be committed, but they don't want to be committed.
Right. So I think it's similar, because and if you feel like, you're growing apart from me, or we don't share the same values. Because I saw this thing online as well, where a girl said that, once like her friends became moms, she just didn't want to be friends with them anymore, because their life changed. Obviously, you have a child, but it's all about your kid and your family, and she didn't want to like be the babysitter. She don't want to hear about kids all the time. And I asked my friends, like, am I that person that only talk about my kids? Because whereas my life has changed somewhat, I still want to be a friend. Yeah. I still want to come and say, how are you? Like, what's going on with your life? I don't want it to always be about me having this, having all of that. Yeah. And some people just kind of don't want to deal with that. And it may come from insecurities of them, having themselves, or I don't want to say jealousy or hatred, but sometimes it could be that as well for some people. Yeah. They probably feel like you're in a phase, or you're in a different category, I'd say, and they can't probably be happy for you the way they would want, so they kind of just step back. Or I don't know, because I don't see things like that, so I don't really get it. Yeah. But I want to think there must be some sensible reason behind just, deciding that I'll disappear for 6 months and then come back.
That is wild, man. That is wild. I am not a fan of low maintenance relationships. I cannot do it. I am not high maintenance when it comes to friendship, because I do not expect you to call me every day or to give me all the details of every minute thing that happens in your life. But you will not go off for a month or 2 months without reaching out to me and expect that I would, like, we're still good. No. If that makes me high maintenance, then okay.
And especially if I reach out to you during that time, like, you like ghost me.
No, bruh. If you ghost me, Oh no. Okay, Jesus has taken control now, so I won't. I probably will not block you until I have a conversation with you.
I have
But
this.
just know, but just know that that's probably the beginning of the end if you do not have a good reason for it. So let's leave the friendship front for a while because I feel like female friendships especially,
It's complicated.
it's
man.
so complex. We could talk about it all day and never really quite make sense of it. Let's talk about love and marriage. First question that I want to ask you is, do you think that marriage has changed you as a person?
Yes, in some ways it has. I was always, I wouldn't say I was a selfish person, but I had no reason to like be selfless growing up. I have siblings, I have 2 older siblings, but I never grew up with them really. They both migrated from a young age, so I was like an only child. So I had everything for myself. It was all about me, what I wanted to do. You know, if I want to eat that, I eat that. If I don't want to go there, I don't, kind of a thing. When I got married, or when I started dating my husband, there were some changes that I had to do. He as well. I was never the very social person he was. So we clashed there.
I don't know why antisocial people and social people always come together as couples.
But some opposites attract. I mean, so he was like that, and so he was always the person saying hi to everybody. He was always friends with everybody, and I was like, why? Why do you need to be everyone's friend? Like, I mean, just have like 3 friends.
Exactly.
And call it a day. And you're like, no, like this person he's friends with because of that, and then it kind of changed, to be honest, because now it's the opposite. I have more friends than he does.
You rubbed up on the man.
Probably a bit too much.
Yeah.
But I had to change that. I had to change how I was. I had to be more social. I had to tolerate a lot more. I had to understand that different people, you can love a person and not like them. Because there are periods when I did not like my husband.
Of course.
I mean, I was like, how do I eat? How am I in love with you and I don't like you? Like, you piss me off so much. And so I had to change that. I had to learn how to, and even dealing with conflicts. I am a person that if I'm upset, I don't want to talk. Not now, not tomorrow, probably next week, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, I let you brew and stew.
Yeah, he wants to sort it here and now.
Yeah.
What happened? How do we fix this? I don't want to fix it. I want to be upset. Let me be upset, you know? So it was really like that. I had to change my own idea of dealing with like conflicts and socializing to becoming more open, a little bit more feminine, because I was like, you know? And just, so what about you? How was it for you?
Bruh. I think prior to meeting my husband, I was very flighty in relationships. I do not have time for nonsense. If you move mad, I will break up with you and move. I really avoided confrontation, conflict. I saw it as you stressing me out. You are stressing me out. And I lacked submission or submissiveness in relationships, and that was a big issue with other people that I dated. You're always complaining about, oh, you're not submissive. I'm like, bruh, does being submissive mean you want to turn me into a doormat that you can trample up and down? No, I will not be that person. And I think I was more in like masculine energy in my past relationships. But then when I met my husband, I don't know what it was about him and us. Everything just changed. I think I got through. I think I found that I could trust him. I could trust his judgment, and I could trust his leadership. And then somehow, without even knowing, the submission that they had been fighting with me for, it was natural. I was very feminine. I was in my feminist, soft life girl era with my husband. I am still there, like, bruh, I am a soft life baby girl. Everybody knows. And I think it's just my husband that brings out that part of me. So I think marriage has really changed me in that way. Also confrontation and conflict. I don't know how to process it. I run away from conflict. Most times I just want to, let me stew in it. Let me think about it. And then we can talk about it. We can address it. And it's a very bad idea because I find that I bottle things up so much
Then you
and I explode. And my husband cannot make sense of it. If something is wrong, talk about it now. Let's get it.
No,
let's get over it.
About all the reasons why.
And let's move on. But I want to sit down and dissect and analyze different scenarios and make a mountain out of a molehill. And but we thank God. To God be the glory. I have been delivered. I have learned to speak up when I'm upset. I have learned patience. I have learned to show empathy, really, to try to put myself in the other person's shoes. I've also learned to check myself, right? Because I feel like most times I used to feel like, oh, I was always right. I didn't do anything wrong, But I've learned to be honest with myself. Like, girl, you were moving mad. Accept it. Admit it. Let us go. So I think, yeah.
And I think when I had a kid, that kind of helped point it out.
Motherhood humbles you.
Yes. I remember one time I was like shouting at my husband and Sophie was like, Mommy, why you shout at Daddy?
Uh-huh.
And I was like, huh?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Those kids keep you in check.
And she was like, Mommy says sorry. And I was like, sorry? She's like, Mommy says sorry. And because you don't want that to be their reality. You don't want them growing up seeing that. Like, you have to learn to handle things appropriately, I'd say.
Yeah.
But I mean, my friends would tell you, one of my friends, she called me like a crazy black woman because I go from
0 to 100 like real quickly.
Real quick. But now with a child, especially a girl, I have to, teach her a bit more of that. I think I probably overdo it sometimes because now she's like such a softie. I mean, you see. She's like,
no, she's her daughter is a soft girl.
Opposite of
she does not like stress. She does not like drama.
She doesn't even like loud noise.
Exactly. She's a very soft girl.
So I think I've corrected that somewhat. But it's always a learning moment. It's you never perfect it. No.
And I think that we're not really truly informed of how much marriage changes you as a person and how hard it is. Because when you have to live with a person for an extended period of time, you see this person at their worst, at their best. You see literally everything. I call it see finish. It's a way of Nigerian people say, like, when you have seen somebody finish, you have seen the last about it, so you can disrespect them easily because you've seen it all.
You know how to push their buttons.
And marriage really exposes that. And I find that a lot of people, like you said, like you would not. Some people don't like their spouses.
True.
Like, it's for you to be able to say that you really like your spouse is a big flex if you do not know it.
Especially if you're friends. If you are if you can be home alone for like a whole weekend and just have fun with each other. I don't mean like intimate stuff.
Exactly.
I mean
like just chill, chat, play, have fun. Laugh. You understand? It's a big flex.
Like there are lots of persons like in relationships even now, and they love the person, like they love the idea of them.
Yeah.
But like to have a conversation, like some couples cannot even have a conversation. You cannot talk about. I don't mean like things
like mundane stuff.
Yeah, you can't talk about like the weather today, how it is, how that would affect your life. Talk about depression, talk about moving to a new country, talk about that kind of a thing. It always has to be me and you or nothing. And I think when you have things in common as well, and I don't mean like just sport or trying to watch your partner's football team because some reason oh I like Man U or I mean just regular stuff, anything that comes up. I saw this on the news, what do you think about this? The other day I was asking my husband what he thought about mass migration, like even us coming here, like what impact does he think that has on the society here, and how does he feel as an expat as opposed to how he thinks residents would feel having people come here. I want to talk about those things. We need to have.
You should be able to have those conversations.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like, oh, I don't know, I don't care, it's whatever. I mean, I need to be intellectually stimulated. We need to have conversations.
Yeah, I think a lot of people find that stimulation from other sources instead of their spouses, and it's really sad.
Yeah,
sometimes you should be able to discuss everything and anything with your spouse.
And be challenged as well.
Yeah, like if there is nothing to spice up the conversation from time to time, let's not argue, let's have a debate about something, and not end in a screaming match and somebody getting upset and just blowing it out of proportion. I think all these things are really, really important, but there are things that we never really knew about. I mean, I walked into marriage blind. I walked into marriage without an idea, because I think the African mentality is, oh, when you're done with school, get a husband, have babies, but they don't go into the detail of what it takes to have a husband, or not to have a husband, to keep a husband. Because I think it's pretty easy to get married, but to have a happy, well-balanced home takes a lot of work that people are not necessarily informed about or ready to commit to, right? Because marriage will stretch you. Marriage will stretch you, it will test you, it will push you, and you have to keep up with your spouse. I don't mean it in like a competitive way, but as you are growing and evolving into like a higher version of yourself, your spouse is also growing and evolving.
And I think it can be challenging as well, especially if you're two like-minded individuals when it comes on to stuff like career.
Yeah.
So say like this is the goal you had for your life, and this is the goal he has, and for some reason his probably takes off before yours, and you're there like, okay, I will support you, but at what point is it like my turn? And I think like there are lots of marriages that end because one person feel like the other is like always in control, or the other one is always the one that is supported, and they never feel like they get to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Especially women, like especially when you have a guy that's the provider and you're just there, you feel like you're just an accessory in a sense, and you want to feel some level of importance, or like what you do matters as well.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to decipher when it's time to support and kind of take a step back for you to have your moment, but also partners need to know when it's time to support or push the other one, to reach their potential. Because I think when marriages end, it's really because one person's just not happy with who they are. So whether it's cheating, they're probably not happy with who they're becoming in a marriage, or if it's, I don't know, whatever else, money issues, I don't know. But I think it's important to keep in mind that the person that you marry is not the person you're going to be with 10 years from now.
Yes, that is
people
the truth.
Will evolve, and people
you will evolve, you will change. I'm definitely not the person that my husband married 7 years ago. Like, I've changed. And he has to keep up with that. Same way he's changing and he's evolving, and I have to learn new things about him and who he's becoming, and fall in love with this person again to be able to keep up. So we're both like every year it's like we're rediscovering each other, and we are finding out, okay, I still like you, it's okay, let's keep going. But I think a lot of people don't understand that. They feel like, oh, this is who you are, or this was who you were when I got married to you. I do not expect you to change. And that is just ridiculous, because you can't. If someone is the same way you married them 10 years ago, there's a big problem. That means someone is stifling someone. Or
someone is pretending.
Or someone is pretending, like it doesn't make any sense. But I think people are not prepared for that. And you know what you said about sometimes someone has to take a step back. And most times, to be honest, it's usually the women.
Especially when kids are involved.
When you have kids, the reality is something has to give. If you want to pursue your career, you will not be able to devote 100% of your attention or time to your kids. And it is what it is. If you want to, you have to make a choice. If you want to be hands-on with motherhood, you have to be prepared to slow down on your career or your personal pursuits. But I feel like social media is just painting a picture that is so false these days, talking about, oh, you can have it all.
It never happens.
Right, you can't have it all. You sit down, weigh your options, make a choice, and live with your choices. Learn to live with your choices. If you decide you want to focus on your children for a period of time, maybe when they're still young, then be ready to, understand. You have to understand at that point, your personal goals, your career, you are going to slow down on it. And you have to get to the point where you accept that and you focus on your family without resentment.
Yeah,
because that's how resentment grows.
Right, and person start to blame.
Because in that time, your husband is probably, he's getting promoted, he's doing the damn thing. And you're just saying like, bro, I'm just here, I'm just popping out babies and then what?
As you said that, I remember when I was pregnant and I was working from home. That was during COVID. And after I had a baby, you know, because I was working from home, I went back to work like 2 months after with the newborn. And so I had my meetings, I had everything just the same. And I was like, no, I need this to end. I wanted a job away from home. You know, a lot of people want to work. I wanted to work away from home because that meant I didn't need to be having the baby all the time, and I could see other people as an adult.
I could like just an adult interaction.
Yeah, and it was at first I was so happy for it. You know, I could be with my baby, and so the first couple of months up until she was probably 1. I was home with her, and it was good and it was terrible. I remember I would tell my husband, because he lived close to home, to just come home when it's lunchtime and just keep her so I can go for a walk by myself. And when it was like in the evenings when he came home, I would like just go to the gym. I don't even like going to the gym, but I just needed to be out of that house.
Yeah.
And so I decided that, listen, I'm either gonna be home with her but not full-time employed, or I'm going to be full-time employed and not home with her all the time.
Yeah.
And I made that decision, and I went back to work. I did that for almost 2 years up until we moved here, and now I'm home. So I've done both, and I can't say I prefer one over the other. I absolutely need to see my child every day. I want to tuck her in. I want to say goodnight. I want all of that. But I also want to feel like I have a life outside of my child.
Yeah.
I need that personal fulfillment. And to find that balance is always where the issue is.
Yeah.
Because how much is too much?
Exactly.
And I think when it comes down to things like children getting sick, that's where my, all the reason for me goes out the window. Because if I'm at work and I get a call from a daycare, my child is sick, I need to be home with her for the next week, I am going to be home. Now, as my boss, how would you view that? I'm not a dedicated employee. So, I mean, it's always tricky. And for some reason, you find that the mothers do that more than the fathers in most cases. And if it works, it works. But it's not always glamorous as people. Oh, I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom.
Right.
Stay-at-home mom? That's more work than an actual job.
Girl, I've been there.
You go to work with adults. You send an email to an adult. You do tasks with adults. When you're with a child, especially a toddler, no sense of reasoning.
Tantrums,
time to get a
meltdowns.
bath. Why?
Every
time to eat.
minute.
Why? I want to go outside. It's raining. I want to go outside. Like,
you are overstimulated. What I would just say is make the right choice for yourself and for your family.
And don't follow
the crowd. You will just end up in tears, and that's the honest truth. Now, being a stay-at-home mom is being celebrated more, and I love that because stay-at-home moms are underrated heroes. It is not easy to stay home all day, every day with kids, run your household, take care of everybody, and still look good, look like I'm about to run mad. And so I love the fact that these women that do that are getting their flowers while they're here. But don't let, because now it's being almost glamorized and being romanticized, don't let that fool you. It's hard. So choose your heart.
Yeah, and a lot of like the popular stay-at-home moms, they have nannies. So they're home.
They have nannies, they have housekeepers.
Yeah, so
they have people,
if it doesn't work for you, like don't rush into it. Don't think it's all. It's not as fun as it looks. It's not all fun. I mean, it can be amazing,
I mean, it is amazing because you're there for every minute, every milestone. You're there to see everything. These are moments that you can never get back.
And it goes by very fast.
Very fast.
So you want to see that, you want to capture it.
So I don't know. I'll say do what works for you. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that your kids need you. especially when they're really young. And I believe that between 1 and 10 years old, those are like the formative years. If you miss it in the first 10 years of their lives, it's going to take the grace of God for you to correct it. Yeah, lots of therapy for you to correct it. So I feel like every woman needs to understand that the first 10 years of your child's life, you need to be involved. You need to be hands-on. Whatever that looks like for you is up to you. If you want to stay at home for the first 10 years, maybe, and I mean, now the world is getting easier and better. You can run businesses out of the comfort of your home. You know, if you feel like you still need to do something, if you feel like you just want to be like Hawkeye, eagle eye, a day in every detail, you don't want to work, do what works for you, but don't let social media fool you.
And I mean, if you can't do that either, if you are like a single mom and you need to work to provide, that is the best scenario for you.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. Like, do not let anybody let you feel like...
Exactly. Do not be pressured to do something in a certain way.
Yeah.
Who made these standards? Who made these rules?
Right.
It's people.
What's the ideal family type?
Exactly.
It could be a mom and a child. If you're in
everybody's situation
a
is
relationship
different.
that doesn't work, and you see that it's best. I've heard a lot of people say like their parents should have been separated from like a long time ago, and you would think probably being with a person that's not good for you or your child is the best thing.
It's not.
When sometimes it's just a mom and your daughter, or a father and his son, whatever works for you. And I think you know.
Yeah, you will.
You probably won't want to accept it, but you know.
Definitely know.
It's
always hard because I went through that phase where I knew that the right thing for me to do was to be at home with my kids. But then I was letting the standards of the world cause me to fight it. Like, I felt like I would have failed fundamentally at being a law if I did not have a job or a business or something that I was doing. I felt like my self-worth was tied to doing something. Even though I knew that in this season, I needed to be present because our situation could not accommodate both parents working.
And it's a family. It always has to be a family decision.
Yeah, so I had to make that decision that, okay, let's, step back and, do this. So I feel like you need to be honest with yourself and do what's right for your family. Do not let social media deceive you. Premium tears. Premium tears.
Social media is not real. That's what they said.
It's not real, to be honest. So, I feel like just make the right decision for your family. And now, let's talk about motherhood and how hard motherhood can be. Personally, I have been humbled since I became a mom. I feel like motherhood has changed me, even more than marriage has changed me, because knowing that I am responsible for 2 human beings, it keeps me in check and it makes me want to become a better person, because I've learned that my kids don't learn necessarily by what I tell them or what I say, but by what I do. They pick up on habits that you have or that people around them have. And so that has made me, more cautious. It makes me check myself, how I speak, how I approach confrontation, things like that. And just generally being a responsible human being. And motherhood has also made me learn patience, because I've never really been the most patient person. Even till now, I'm not. On some days, I have to literally have the Holy Spirit activate. I need patience. I'm constantly praying to God to give me more patience, because I know I can be more patient, but I just don't have it. And there are days when these kids will push you to your limit, and I'm just like, will you just disappear? Don't disappear and just get away. I want to try to be a gentle parent. I want to try gentle parenting, but
do you have gentle kids?
Exactly. I have Agneros for kids. I mean, my kids are active. They are like really active. Some people will say hyperactive, but I do not allow that term here. They are very active. They are very curious. My kids are very social.
Yeah.
I have bubbly kids. My kids will walk up to a stranger. My son struck up a conversation on the tram the other day with a stranger, talking about his shoes and all of that. he's just 6 years old. So for you to understand, my kids are out there. So it takes a special brand of patience and kindness to mother them right. And I've had to learn that because these are humans that are still forming. Their personalities are still developing. And I have to keep up with that and also, guide them. But motherhood is hard.
Yeah, I think about it a lot. Like when I try to decide or think what's probably right for my child, I think about how I am and how I feel about my mom. If I felt like she did this right or that, and then I'm like, okay, based on the child that I have now, what do I do? So my child is not, she has a bit of me in her personality, but she can also be like her dad. So she will start saying hi to strangers now, apparently. Like in the supermarket, she'll be like, hi. And then I'm the mom and I'm like, and
it forces you to interact with people that you ordinarily would not.
Exactly, because I would just be about my business, but now I have to be, pleasant and nice, so they respond to my child. And I have to show her that it's okay to be friendly somewhat. But motherhood, I mean, apart from physical changes, it messes with your head. Probably I shouldn't say mess with. It changes.
It messes with you.
Okay, we can
That's
say.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it does. Like the hormones, the whole. I think from postpartum to being just knowing that you're totally responsible for how a person perceives the world, at least before they can decide on their own.
Yeah.
They say what you say, they do what you do. You're literally under a microscope. Yesterday, I was saying to my daughter, she was like calling me constantly, mommy, mommy, mommy. So I was like, mommy, mommy. I started saying mommy, and she stopped me and she was like, yes, baby girl. And I started laughing. I'm like, okay, so that's what I would say. That's not bad.
Yeah.
So you're constantly being watched. They want to do what you do. Especially, we have girls, because you have a girl as well. When I'm leaving home, she never leaves home without money. So she's always like, mommy, I need money in my bag. So good. Always have your money. And she wants lip gloss. Because, it's a bit girly and whatever. And so I feel like it can be pressuring, but it's also so fun because now you have your own blank canvas and you get to paint it,
whatever you want to see onto it.
And I mean, the world is already what it is.
Moving mad.
So I think it's so important to have that bond with your child from early on so they know that, at least here you'll always be safe. At least here you can be yourself. And this is what I would want you to be before they have to interact with the big bad wolves of the world. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, truly. But I love that not only are you teaching your children, you're also teaching yourself.
Yeah.
Because you want them to see the world in the best possible light. And that means you have to change your mindset, your ideologies, the things that you do. For me, I feel sometimes I tell myself that I've raised very confident children, but sometimes I'm like, what is wrong with you? you are so proud. Like I say it like as a joke, but because they're not proud, they are kids. But my kids are so confident because I was so committed to raising kids that were aware of just how beautiful that they are, both on the inside and the outside. And it started with little things like when my kids got dressed, I'm like, oh my God, you look so pretty, you look so handsome, your haircut is so fresh, you're so nice. And my family members helped with that as well. My brothers, my mom, were really big. I feel like my family were really big on words of affirmation. So it kind of carried. And the first time that I noticed that I had sown a seed that had taken roots deeply in the heart of my son was when his sister got dressed and he looked at her, oh, Nadine, you look so beautiful, just like a princess. Oh, I shed a tear that day. Because I was like, oh my God. At that point, he was what? He was 4 or 5, and he was paying his sister a compliment. And she was so happy. And now it's the same. When I get dressed, my kid tells me, oh, you look so beautiful. Even before my husband tells me that I look beautiful, my kids have already hyped me up. Whether their father tells me I look beautiful or not, he not consign me again because my kids have hyped me up.
It does something too, because I remember growing up and I remember knowing that I was like, in Jamaica, you would say like, I mean, you're all that. And a bag of chips.
My dear.
I never really needed anybody else to tell me anything. Like I left home knowing that I was
all
it.
that.
Like,
Exactly.
You can, and that's
It
I
is
think
so important.
that's one of the reasons I couldn't be peer pressured. Really, you couldn't tell me to do anything I didn't want to do because for one, I don't need to. For two, I know who I am.
Exactly.
And I think it's so important to let kids know that
It's
because
very, very
especially
important.
now there's so much to compare themselves
Yeah.
to. There's so much going on. Some kids are exposed to things that you don't want your kids to be.
Yeah.
And they will probably feel like I'm not cool because I'm not doing that, or I don't have that, so I probably shouldn't. So being able to let them know that, listen, you're all that.
Yes, my dear,
It's
and some more.
important.
I mean, I've said this before that if you do not tell your kids who they are, the world will tell them
Yeah.
who it thinks that they are. So it's better that you start doing the work from inside your house, and it's in the very, very little things. You don't necessarily, because you can't sit a 5-year-old down and have a whole
Right.
conversation about your identity and who you are. It's in the little things, little conversations here and there, the throwaway comments. That is where the work is. And that is what makes motherhood so complex, because you have to be mindful of the tiniest detail. You do not want to say something and then the next minute you build up your child's confidence and the next minute you kick it.
Right.
Like, no, you do not want to do that. So the pressure for that can be so high.
And then you never know what becomes like a core memory for them. Because
Exactly.
you can be going, well, like you think, I'm really rocking this. And
And
then
then
one day,
one single mistake, everything just...
and that is what they choose to remember.
Yeah.
So
So you have to be conscious of all of that. It is hard. And I know that we are making it sound like motherhood is where the code. We're not making it sound. That's the honest truth. Moms do the most. Fathers play their part, but I feel like moms do the most in raising the kids.
I asked my husband yesterday, why is it like I will talk to my daughter gentle like 6 times, don't do this, don't do that, whatever. And the first time he says it, he shouts and she's like,
She moves.
and he said like, I just don't have the patience. I cannot go through all of that. And I saw a video actually with a girl.
Yeah.
I said, let me send it to you. And she asked her mom, like, they were
asking the
each other.
kids, yeah. And the kids said that they know that with their dad, they can't get away with it. And so the first time he tells them, they move. But with their mom, she will beg them like a couple of times, ask them nicely, like 5 times before she loses her shit, and then she yells at them the 6th time. But with their dad, they know they don't have that room for error. And I think I've said this before, that kids are at their worst with their moms.
Yeah, because they're more
comfortable with their moms. You will see the kid at their worst with their moms. But with their dads, they are a little more, they are more put together. But with the moms, So Mother's Day is actually coming up really soon. So hug a mom today. Give her buy her some flowers. Send her a lovely message. Buy her chocolates. Send her out on a spa date. Treat mothers nice.
I think a lot of people need to understand Mother's Day. Mothers want to not be moms. Like,
please,
honestly,
I just want to leave the house and go by myself.
If I'm a mom every day on
this
Mother's
one day,
I don't want to go on a dinner with you people. Like,
I want to go on a spa date
by myself.
Even though I feel like
it sounds terrible.
I know, right? Even though I feel like the whole effect of the massage will be negated the minute I step my foot in the house, but it's okay. I will take it. Let me go and just be myself for that day. So give your wife the day off on Mother's Day. That's the best thing you can do, honestly. Set her up with a gift card to go do whatever it is that she loves. If she loves to shop, give her a gift card to go shopping. If she wants a spa day, let her do that. Mothers are trying. They try.
What are you doing for Mother's Day?
I have
You don't know.
no plans. No plans, because that's just how it is. I don't know. I want to go off and do something for myself, but I'll probably still be here sweating in the kitchen on Mother's Day. But it is what it is. Will I do it again? Absolutely.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. If you should ask me, motherhood can be hard. I would want another child.
I would.
I mean, I don't like pregnancy, but I would want. I would want.
Let's not even get into pregnancy.
That's another day.
It's another day's conversation.
Yeah.
I still had this conversation with my husband yesterday that would I actually want to have kids in another life? Yes, absolutely.
I love it.
I love it.
It challenges me. It really does.
This is literally what I've always wanted, to have 2 kids. and a husband. Maybe I might wait a bit on the timing and all of that, so I can first go and be my baby girl, live my baby girl life, do whatever for myself before having kids. But I will always want to have kids. And I love that, motherhood has really stretched me. It has made me a better person all around. It has made me a better person. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be a mom, because I know that it is a gift that I have just been blessed to receive, because I know that there's women out there that really want to go through this journey, but they can't. And so I do not take the opportunity for granted. And I'm sending hugs and prayers and lots of love to every woman that really craves the joy, the challenges of motherhood, but are yet to experience this. Know that your time will come.
And it may not be the way
it might not be in the way that you want it to be,
but it can still happen.
Yeah, there's so many ways to experience it, and I know that at the right time it will happen for you. And so I'm sending you kisses and a happy Mother's Day in waiting. We love you.
Yeah.
And I think that we can bring this video to a close.
We're on a high note, yeah.
Yeah, on a high note. So if you want to see my Jamaican porcupine again, let me know. I will tell you guys all about why I call her my Jamaican porcupine in another video. But that's her nickname, JP. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have come this far, please remember to subscribe, leave a comment, like. Let me know what you like us to talk about. If you like sit downs like this, let me know. I'll bring my friends. I do not have a lot of them, but the ones that I have, they have sense. So I will bring them another time. Until next time, kisses. Bye.